Hi, I'm your host Devin Moore, and this is the show Eye to Eye. Today I'm gathered with great minds to discuss a topic and learn more from others' point of views. Today's discussion will be focused around social media and social media boundaries. The way this show works is we ask questions to learn from each other and bring awareness to modern issues. Now, I would like the cast to introduce themselves.
My name is Maya Kimmel, and I'm a freshman at Sam Houston State University, and I am on the pro social media side.
Hi, I'm Jaden. I am a junior, a film major, and I'd probably say that I have a love-hate relationship with social media.
Hi, my name is Arturo. I'm a senior here at SHSU. I'm currently majoring in film and TV production, and I'm kind of in the middle with social media. Like, I'm not against it, but I'm also not, super fond of it.
Now that we've gotten a chance to learn more about where our cast stands on the topic, I will start the conversation and they will take it from there. Cast, feel free to ask each other questions, and I'll be acting as a moderator during the discussion. So if anything gets too out of hand or too far off topic, I will steal the conversation back. Today's first question will be, do you think it's important to take a break from social media?
I think personally, I need a break from social media, but I don't want to speak for everybody else, whether or not they need to, but for me, I think social media can just be too much at some point, because, I spend hours on social media, because, you know how, on iPhone you can see how much, you're on your phone, so, I see that, and I'm 11 hours, that seems like a lot, so I feel like sometimes I just need to take a break and, spend my time doing something more productive, if that makes sense. What about y'all?
I feel like there's not really an escape for social media. So whenever you do try to take a break, now it's a lot harder to do it. Because in 2013, 2014, it can easily be okay, put my phone away. My phone only lasts an hour on battery anyways. I'm not going to waste it on this photo site. But now that phones have also gotten a lot stronger and all of our news because of COVID, nobody really watches TV anymore because of streaming services and all that. Most people, I would like to say, get their news from social media. So there's no way to escape it, because once you take that vacation, you're kind of out of touch with everything around you.
True.
So I feel like it's nice to take that vacation, but once you do, you're pretty much taking yourself away from the world at this point for a couple of weeks.
Out of the loop.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there is a healthy amount of social media and an unhealthy amount. So I think as long as you're using a healthy amount of social media to where it's not affecting your day-to-day life and your mentality, then it's okay to use social media as long as you don't start getting affected by it.
Right. And what you were saying about people getting their news from social media, I know for me personally, I in a way get my news from social media. And so when I do go on my breaks and I come back, I'm well dang, what's been going on in the world? And I guess I could go out of my way and look it up on Google or something, what's going on.
I get my news from social media as well.
too.
I don't really watch TV as much, so I get on Twitter or Instagram and I see all the news around the world, and it's just available at my hands. So I think it is effective for news to get out there quicker and effectively, and to reach everybody at all ages.
Yeah.
I'm also scared that it's in the palm of your hands, and that there's so much freedom when it comes to social media and being online and all that, because then you can easily pick and choose what you want to listen to out of the article, cite it that way, and then be hey, this is what it is, and be well, you didn't get the full context. And I feel that taking that vacation may help a little bit more, because then you'll hear the original story and then negate anything that's twisted and turned out of it. But at the same time, it's there's that option where it's you didn't even see the original article, and you see the one somebody twisted and turned, and now your view is completely different.
Right.
That's true. You gotta be careful sometimes when you get your news from social media, I feel like.
So going off of what Arturo said, do you think that social media is toxic?
Ooh. I think it depends, how you use your time. Because if you use your time to, catch up with family, then it shouldn't be that toxic. Unless, you have controversial views on, Facebook. Then that's when it's going to become toxic. But it's a highly, I feel depending on which turn you take, it's, very toxic.
Yes.
Yeah, I think toxic can also come in social media in terms of what you allow to, what social media can make of a person is definitely all about mentality. And I think that mentality is a big thing with social media. If you have a strong mindset, if you have strong emotions, then you're not going to be warped into this toxic culture that social media likes to make sometimes.
Right.
And I think that with also like talking about the breaks on social media, that as long as you are on social media for a healthy, with a healthy mindset and for like good reasonings, if you're on there for news or whatever, as long as you don't get warped into toxic culture and, you know, like either, you know, getting on social media and seeing certain stories and not necessarily like knowing if something is true or not. Like you have to have a better mindset with social media and not get warped into the toxic lies and the toxic fighting that can come with that.
True. And I feel like a lot of people, are starting to like come away from Instagram now a little bit more because they feel like people are just painting a life that they like want people to see. Like it's almost fake. Like nothing's real, and a lot of people don't realize that it's fake, and so they'll compare themselves to other people's lives on social media, and that's when it can be like detrimental to like your mental health sometimes, because it's like, oh, my life doesn't look like theirs, but really like that's not their life. That's just the life they wanted you to see.
Right.
I feel like so that's where I feel like it can get toxic in a way, but like it just depends on the person. Like if they realize, okay, like that's what they're putting on social media, that's not their whole like life. So it depends. I feel like.
Okay, so do you think that's, well, after the break, do you think that social media is safe for children under the age of 18?
That's a really gray area.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Because, like, if, like, it's controlled properly, then yeah. But if not, then that's all to the parent.
Well, thank you for saying that. We'll be back after this break.
Hey Bearcats, take your membership on the go by downloading the Sam Houston State University Alumni Cat app today. Not a member yet? Join the Sam Houston Alumni Association or renew in seconds to enjoy exclusive national benefits on dining, entertainment, and much more. Now that you're in, take some time to explore your exclusive member benefits. Read the latest edition of Heritage Magazine or find an alumni event near you. Click on our travel tile to sign up and explore the globe with our traveling Bearcats, or stay connected to alumni in your area as you take your membership everywhere. Come hang out with the Alumni Association as we tailgate some of the biggest games of the year by showing your alumni member card that is now in the palm of your hand. Download the SHSU Alumni Cat app today in the iTunes or Google Play Store, or visit shsu.edu/cat app. Eat 'em up, cats!
Welcome back to Eye to Eye. Today we're discussing the topic of social media. In the first segment, I asked the question to start the cast in discussion, and now we'll allow the cast members to start the discussion on their own. Again, I'll be the moderator of the discussion, and if things get off hand or off topic, if no one has questions, I have questions to keep the conversation going. So in the last segment, the last thing I said was, do you think social media is safe for people under the age of 18?
I think as long as you're under 18 and educated about social media, I think it's okay. Especially if you're, like I would say, maybe 12 and under. As long as you're educated on the sites that you should go to and should stay away from, I think it is important, because I know that children can be easily swayed to one side of the media and think that things are okay when they're really not. So I think as long as you're educated on what is acceptable on social media, then I think it's perfectly fine.
I feel like it like ultimately falls onto the parents too, because the parents have no idea what's happening on social media or the sites that their kids are seeing. I know you don't want to get like into your like child's business, or they don't want you in their business when it's online, but at that point, like you start seeing like a bunch of jokes where it's like, oh, I know from my childhood, like because my parents got me an Xbox, and I guess that's like my first form of like social media, because that's when I was actually able to talk to people outside of the house and all that. It was really tough. Like there was a lot of insults, a lot of like negative behavior, a lot of like slurs, a lot of this and that that should have been exposed to me at a young age, but there was no one there to like regulate it. But whenever like parents did take charge of like other kids in the neighborhood, other parents would talk bad. It's like, oh, you're just trying to manipulate your kid, or you're just trying to like control them. But I feel like it also has that negative mindset because social media is it's recent. It's been here for like a little over 10 years, I want to say. So it's like nobody really knew how to control it around that age.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like it's okay. So like me personally, I think I got my first like social media account like when I was 12, and like at the time I didn't see anything wrong with it, and like I'm not sure if I saw anything that was like bad. I don't think, because I was on Instagram, and so I was only following people that like I was friends with, so I didn't necessarily see anything bad. But I could see like as you get older, maybe like 15 and 16, like seeing things and being like exposed to certain things that you shouldn't. So I don't know. That's a hard one.
Yeah, I got Instagram when I was really young. I think I was about 11 or 12. Definitely younger than I should have been being on Instagram. But at the same time, I do understand the side of not wanting children to be on social media, because I know for me personally, being on social media at a young age, it was only because my friends had social media, and so I wanted to have a social media, and I would get on there and I would see people way older than me posting certain things and having lots of likes. And being a young kid, I was like, well, I want to have a lot of likes, I want to have a lot of followers. And it was just because I was watching people who are older than me doing older things, like going out with friends or whatever, or like I just wanted to fit the image of what they were doing, and not realizing like, hey, that's not me. I'm this age, they're this age. So I think if someone had told me like, hey, it's okay to still act your age on social media, still remain a child, and still, you know, post things that are appropriate, then it's okay to keep doing what you're doing on social media.
Yeah, that's true.
So I know y'all started social media young. Do you feel like it played a role in y'all self-esteem at some point?
Oh, 100%. Like, I feel like there's a lot of, so I was very underweight when growing up, and even like 2 years ago, I was like 90 pounds going into college. I was very skinny, didn't fit half of my clothes. And then I would see on social media all the time just bodybuilders, a bunch of people working out, actors having like six packs and like huge muscles and all that. I had that thought like, that needs to be me. Like, I need to fit that image. So I gained 60 pounds in the next 2 years, and like right now I'm happy at my weight, but I feel like also my confidence was a lot lower. And like I didn't really like appreciate anything else that I could do. Like I was dancing for a couple of years. I did martial arts for 6 years. I was doing this, that, but none of that like I wanted to show off, because it's like, oh, if nobody cares how you look pretty much, then nobody's gonna care about anything else. So I feel like that's how it affected my mentality personally.
Yeah. Kind of like going back to like what I said earlier, I think with social media, it kind of affected my mindset in the fact like I was trying to act older than what I was, because I was seeing, you know, adults doing adult things on social media. So me as a young kid, I was like, well, I want to look like her, so I want to dress like this, or I want to take pictures like this because she's taking her pictures like that and everyone loves her. And I wanted that same feedback on my Instagram or my Facebook or something like that. So I think that it definitely affected me in the sense that I was trying to act older than what I was, and not remembering that I was a 12-year-old little girl. So I think that it can definitely have a play, especially on females who are constantly being told how to look, how to dress, how to act. So I think for girls, it can be really easy to fall in that trap of letting social media affect their mindset and letting them feel like they're not good enough, even though they are.
Definitely, like searching for validation through likes and like people commenting and doing different things. Like I could definitely see myself doing that, like, or was doing that when I used to post. I don't post anymore, but like when I was younger, I guess like wanting those likes so they could like make me feel good about myself in a way. So yeah, definitely.
I know my younger sister also falls into that category now, with like the trends, like whenever it's like, oh, this is the new style, this is the new like Bisco girl, like, or e-girl or something like that. She'll start like changing like her mind on how she wants to dress and like how she wants to act and all that. I remember there was one time she had this nasty attitude because there was like this one content creator she really liked had a negative attitude towards everybody else. So she started giving a negative attitude towards me and my parents, and I was like,
Oh wow.
maybe you should stay off of YouTube for a little bit.
How old is she?
She was I think 14 at the time, but trying to act like she ran a house.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can see how it's an issue. So if it plays an effect on students or kids' social self-esteem, do you feel like there should be more regulation on social media from the companies?
Like for kids?
For, I guess, anybody?
I feel like having that like, are you 18 or are you 13 just isn't enough for when it comes to the regulation. Because you could be like, are you 13? And then someone at the age of 8 is like, yeah, I was born in
Yes.
1996. Like
That's what
and
I
then-
used to do.
That's what I did as well.
Yes.
So it's like that thing where it's like, oh, well, we can't be, like, the company's like, well, we can't be harmed because they said they were 18 on their thing. I'm like, if the profile says they're 18, but if you had, like, maybe, like, a crew of people who can actually, like, go and, like, regulate, like, new accounts or something like that and see the profile photos, you're like, they said they're 26, why is their profile a 12-year-old? Like, like, those two don't really add up.
They don't.
Yeah, I also think it's a lot to do with like the parenting as well. Not just from regulations on social media sites, but from for parents being more aware of what their children are posting, especially if they are like 14 or younger. Because I know like my parents, like they always had all the passwords to my social media accounts, not because they were trying to snoop on my business or whatever, but because if anything were to happen, they were able to get in my account. I see a lot of, especially this generation coming up, are posting, you know, wilder things that I did not post back then. And so I think it's more of the parents that need to get more involved in their children's social media so that they can know what's being posted by their children, other children, and so it won't allow children to maybe act older than they are or fall into a trap from older people.
Yeah, I agree. Like the regulation should come from the parents, not necessarily like the social media platforms themselves. Yeah, I'm not sure what else like they could do to regulate, like after asking like how old are you, the age and stuff. Like what else can you really check for like on social media? I don't know. Yeah.
So, do you think that companies should have the freedom to ban whoever they want?
It depends, I think, because it's like, what are they banning them for? Like, so I'm thinking like hate speech, like. So then, like, I don't know, it like becomes on them to like designate like what is hate speech to them. So like, I don't know, I'd be.
Yeah, I think
Really
as long
difficult.
as someone is following the rules and regulations and kind of like the terms and agreements that we always skip over when applying for things, as long as they're following those rules that are laid out, I don't think that they should be removed from social media. However, I do think that the social media account does have the right to ban whoever they want to ban if they're not following within those rules and guidelines.
They can, like, I feel like they should have complete freedom to ban whoever they are, but I know, like, when the issue comes to that, a lot of it's now automated to where it's like, oh, you get enough reports, then your account's, like, immediately suspended.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you need to take a little bit more control when it comes to that.
That's
Because
true.
if, like, there's a one content creator, let's say TikTok, for example, because I, like, go through my feed, and it goes from, like, gaming to very political very quickly, and I don't know why. But there's just, like, there's a lot of, like, either like wrong terms or not wrong terms, like wrong information, misinformation, a lot of hate speech, a lot of this, a lot of that, and like those aren't being blocked, but like
Exactly.
Right.
videos talking about those videos are being blocked.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like at some point you need to like step back and like actually like analyze like, hey, this is the video that's being reported on, because then I feel like that's like canceling a news station for a story that was already put like on a different channel and like blocking it that sort of way.
Right.
True. And TikTok does that a lot, like
Yeah.
banning people. And I feel like TikTok is racist. I'm just going to say that. Because it'd be the white people that stay on there, like being able to spew hate speech all the time. But the black people get like banned for doing nothing really. Like, so that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah, I think also hate speech can sometimes, when people are banned for hate speech, a lot of people like to say, well, I'm just giving my opinion. And a lot of times it's like, if your opinion isn't helpful or just sharing information to help that person grow as a better person, then I do consider it hate speech. And so I do think that people can give their opinions while still remaining kind and thoughtful in those guidelines of the social media sites.
Okay. I like what y'all had to say about the parents should be more regulatory on what their kids are doing on social media, especially since it's such a new thing, a new aspect for these people, especially since parents didn't grow up with it, more so us growing up with it. But we'll be back after this commercial break, and we'll be talking about the terms and conditions of social media, and we'll be back.
Working immigrant parents, Eric Rodas chose to serve his country. A father, a soldier, and now a college graduate. He proved that circumstances have nothing to do with your outcome. Since 1879, we've been helping students like Eric determine their future. Sam Houston State University, a great name in education. Third-generation Bearcat Tacey Webb roped her way to a national championship through her hard work and fearless dedication. Trading her saddle for nursing scrubs, Tacey set her sights in another arena, a place where she can champion the needs of others. Since 1879, we've been helping students like Tacey reach their championship potential. Sam Houston State University, a great name in education.
Welcome back to Eye to Eye. In this segment, we review what we have learned from others' perspectives and what we could take away from this experience. So the first question I have for y'all is, have y'all ever found an issue with the privacy terms of social media platforms?
Yes. Yes, I do. Because I don't know if y'all have seen The Social Dilemma on Netflix, but that documentary is so good and talks about like how unethical like social media really is, like in terms of how they grab us and get us to like stay on and like scroll and everything. Like it's very much like kind of creepy. But yeah, so like the terms and conditions, like no one ever reads those. Like, have y'all ever read those things? No.
No,
I have a
never.
couple times.
No
for,
way.
For like competitions or
Oh my
like any
gosh.
like important things where I'm like, I'm about to put my work out there. I just
Okay,
want to
I
make
can
sure
see
like nobody can take this. I'm not signing any rights away.
Okay, I
I'm
can
not,
see that. True.
So that's when I'll like do that. I know on Instagram I tried to grow photography, but I was like skeptical about that because I was like, there's no way a like computer programmer is going out taking photos or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like they're grabbing other people, putting it over here. I'm like, I'm not gonna let them use my photos. So like I had to make
Yeah.
sure.
I can see it in that.
I have seen The
aspect.
Social Dilemma, actually, and it was
real.
pretty interesting. And talking about the regulations and like terms and conditions, I don't know if you guys have heard about like the iPhones being able to hear you and being able to watch you.
Yes.
And a lot of the times, you know, we do give access to the iPhone for our microphone, and we give them access to track our locations, to give us
Definitely.
ads, certain ads on like Instagram or Facebook, but we just don't go into reading them. And then we freak out when we see them like on our social media sites, like how do they know we were just talking about this? And I think a
Literally.
lot of it is because we're allowing them to have full access and not read into it. So I do think like that's been like a big topic that's been brought up in the past couple of years, that like Apple and iPhone has been like tracking our every move.
Definitely.
That's why I had me a Galaxy, because when I heard that, I've just had a Samsung since. But at the same time, like I've heard the same thing about the Alexas. I'm just sitting
Oh,
over
yeah.
here,
Oh
like,
yeah.
and I actually I like to turn on those settings where they can hear me and all that, because like I don't say anything weird. If anything, it's gonna be like, dang, I really wish like I remembered that thing like 2 weeks ago, and then like out of nowhere, just on my computer, it's like, oh, here's the ad for that thing 2
Pops
weeks.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like,
Exactly.
you know what? Thank you. Like, cause I'm like, I don't say anything weird. So it's just like, okay, like I'm talking like camera equipment, and I'm like, oh, what was that lens I was looking at? What was
It'll
like this
pop
thing?
up.
And it just
Yeah.
pops up, and I'm like, okay, just move that to my cart real quick, and then
It can
Yeah.
be helpful. That's true.
After I
like-
found out about it, I definitely like looked into it, and I do notice that we do give access a lot of times for social media sites to track what we search on other websites. So like when we search, I don't know, like
Google.
something on Amazon, on our Amazon app, then it's gonna an Amazon ad's gonna pop up on Facebook, and we're gonna say, well, how do they know we were talking about it? Well, it's because like we searched it on our iPhone, and they were able to track what we were searching.
Yes.
And I did read into that iPhones do that. So I do think that helps like take away the scariness, because like we are giving them that access, but
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are still unaware that iPhones do that, and it's definitely like scary to them.
Yes, I think it's really deceitful personally, because like, I don't know, it's just like the way they do it. It's just so like sneaky. Like, like they should just be upfront about it. Like, yeah, we listen to y'all all the time. Yeah, we like track all your data. Like, maybe if they're more upfront about it, I'd
Right.
be like, okay. But because it's so like discreet, I feel like it's like they
Yeah,
have
I don't
something
think
to
they've ever
hide.
came out and like acknowledged that they have
Yes.
done it, but I don't think they've also said that they haven't done it. So it's interesting that no one from Apple has come out and said anything.
So then the question is, if they would have been upfront about it, would y'all have made a social media account?
oh, absolutely not. Like, I think the fact that like it's actually hidden, and you're like you were comfortable using it for a little bit more. That's why it was like more accepting for like me personally. But if like it's like, hi, welcome, get started. We're listening to you next. Like, what's your email? And I'm like, no, like, because I feel like at the same time, can't they like sell information from like like one social media site to the other about like what your email is to send you like promotional
Kind of
stuff.
like in that Social Dilemma show you were talking
Yes.
about. It's basically social media is able to control our every move, not necessarily like controlling us as humans, but at the
I
same
think
time they
so.
are kind of controlling our mindsets because they're able to control and decide what we're going to click on. They're able to decide what
Yes.
we're going to search. So I do think like had I known that about social media, I definitely probably wouldn't have gotten into social media as far as I am now.
Same.
But
Same. I agree. Like, it's just very manipulative, I feel like. And I might have still signed up just to see, but then like maybe uninstalled it. But I guess by then they'd already have my information if I signed up.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I dug too deep of a hole in social media because now like I like making content on like Twitch and YouTube and TikTok and all that. So it's like I think what it's like because I've noticed whenever I close the app, that's when I start getting a lot more likes whenever I'm not using it because I'm like, oh, what are these notifications? So I turned off like all the notifications on most of my apps at that point. One, for marketing. Two, for like just to help control myself a little bit so I don't get sucked into like the rabbit hole of like these platforms.
right.
Okay, also, I'm so sorry. But like I feel like a lot of the platforms, like the reason why they try to control us is all for money. Like they get benefits out of it, like helping us, making us scroll for hours and stuff. Like it's because they want us to see ads so that like they can get money. Like I think it's all rooted in money. Personally.
Yeah, I definitely think it's all not necessarily a big game, but I do think it's all part of the social media business world that they, in order to either make money or to benefit off of people, they are having full control and access of people's lives, and people are allowing them to do that. And even I'm guilty of it. I'm allowing them to track my every move, see what I search, see what I post, and that's just all in the world of social media that a lot of people are unaware of.
So then I have one last question for y'all. Why do y'all use social media still with all this information that y'all know?
I don't know. I think it's just hard to live without it at
Yes.
this point. I think it's just in my everyday life.
Honestly, it's just like it is my life. I'm not even gonna lie. I wish it wasn't because
Yeah.
it just takes up so much time. But I just feel if I'm not on it, I'm disconnected from people,
Yeah.
people that I'm close with, like that I'm not necessarily around every day, and just like family, friends, and the world, the news. So I can't let it go.
Yeah, I agree with both of y'all that I'm the same way.
Okay. So that's going to be the end of our show. Thank you for watching Eye to Eye, where we open the conversation to help individuals bring closer and get perspectives on other world views.